What is up, everyone? It's David. Welcome back to Gem Mint MTG, where we talk about collecting and grading Magic the Gathering cards. You know, collecting Magic the Gathering cards is a very personal thing, and everybody's got their different thing that they like to collect. I know that I certainly do. I've talked about the different kinds of things that I like to collect on this channel. And every now and then, I like to take a day and just take a look at other people's collections and see the kinds of things that they're integrating into collecting and the collections that they've built. Some really unique, awesome collections. So that's what we're going to do today. Just to take a step back from all the stuff that's going on and just appreciate some cool collections out there in the graded community. If you appreciate content like this, hit that subscribe button and join in the fun, because we're going to be doing this kind of stuff all the time here on Gem Mint MTG. All right, let's get into this first collection. Getting things started off here, I thought this would be a fun one to get started off with. This is Franz's Alpha Drudge Skeleton Collection. So here you can see we have 12 copies of Drudge Skeletons from Alpha, all graded BGS 9.5. Some of these are actually quads. I thought this was really neat. Sometimes, you know, you just have like a favorite card, a pet card that you really, really like, collect a whole bunch of copies of. And it's just kind of neat to see them all in a row. Alpha cards are so hard to find in 9.5 condition that seeing this many of them is quite impressive. And Drudge Skeletons is kind of a funny card. It's, you know, by today's standards, not a very powerful card, but back in the day, Drudge Skeletons with Unholy Strength was just like such a cool synergy to have. And I thought this was a really cool piece. Really cool, iconic artwork on this card. Everybody recognizes the Drudge Skeletons. So very cool, Franz. Great choice of a card to collect. Next up, we've got Marcus's Ice Storm collection. So here's another case of somebody really liking a card. This is considered like an international set, basically like each printing of a card you collect like from each set that it was released in. So this is the Alpha, Beta, Collector's Edition, International Collector's Edition, and Unlimited versions of Ice Storm that destroys any one land. This is a really neat card. Dan Frazier artwork, and so this is each printing of this card that exists. I always wondered with Ice Storm, it's not on the reserve list. Why never reprint this? They reprinted Sinkhole and so many other cards. This is one of those ones that I'm just so surprised. Well, I guess it has been reprinted now in 30th edition, but until then, hadn't been reprinted. But really cool card. Really, really powerful spell. Green land destruction was hard to come by back in the day. Next up, we have Ben Lee's Arena collection. So this is a collection of 6 cards from the Arena promotional cards. These were cards that were released way back in the day, like 94, 95 or something. And they were released as promotional items with books. You could like send off to get these cards if you purchased an item. And most people know about the Mana Crypt. That's the most popular one. It's very popular, and I think it's legal in Vintage. But it's also legal in Commander, and it's very popular to use in Commander. So that's the most, iconic one that most people recognize with that Mark Teton artwork. Certainly the most powerful one. But there was also Arena, the Windseeker Centaur, Sewers of Estark, Giant Badger, and the Nalathni Dragon, which is like a little mini Shivan dragon. And these were all really cool, unique cards. I remember when these had come out, they were much harder to find back in the day. Like you would see them every now and then. Someone might have one. Now that they're available online, these are much easier to find. But I thought this was really cool. I hadn't seen some of these in a really long time, and I was like, oh wow, that's a really cool thing to collect. There's not a whole lot of them, so it's kind of like a little bit easier of an undertaking if you wanted to collect the set of these. And I just thought it was really cool. All these are in BGS 9 condition, and they're all beautiful. All have that old border. Absolutely beautiful. Next up, we have this is one of the coolest ones. I gotta say, this just really made me smile. So this is Britton Corky's Silver Age foil collection. Look at this. How beautiful is this? Old border, Silver Age foils. You can see the Thran Dynamo, Treachery, Rain Academy Chancellor, Raphaelos, Opalescence, Metalworker, Yawgmoth's Bargain, Yavimaya Hollow, Masticore, the Replenish, that's a BGS 9, and Academy Rector, BGS 9. Oh, they're not all 9.5, sorry. Most of them are 9.5s. A couple of these are 9s. But these are just, my God, they're so pretty. I can't even imagine what this looks like actually in person. Just the picture looks amazing. I can't imagine actually having these in front of me. That some of these are just so hard to find in good condition. I don't think people realize, like, A, how rare these are. Like, these are so rare by today's standards. There's really not that many of these that exist, much less old border foils like this that are still in good condition. You got to remember back in the day, sleeves and, playing with sleeves and getting a card in a pack and never touching it. All of those things were kind of uncommon. Generally, you were purchasing cards to play with. A lot of people weren't playing with sleeves. They were just throwing cards in deck boxes. And to find these cards still in gem mint condition is very difficult. And they're just absolutely stunning. These old border foils are just incredible. The Masticore, the Metalworker, Yawgmoth's Bargain, and Treachery. It's just all of the Replenish, all of them. This is beautiful, great taste with this one. This is just, man, this is absolutely beautiful. Britain, Corky, very good taste. Absolutely love the collection. I would love to see something like this in person. I have a lot of old border foils. Not that many of them actually graded. But I just imagine that in the slab, these look absolutely incredible. This is the last one that we're going to look at today, and the biggest one that we're going to look at in terms of the number of cards. So this is Matt Bay's Lands Collection. So this is the first of 3 pictures that we'll take a look at. Getting started off here, all of these are like Silver Age, depending on how you define the Silver Age. Reserve list lands, or not all reserve list, sorry. These are not all reserve list cards, but these are old bordered Silver Age lands collection. So Matt Bay has this collection. Here you can see you got Ancient Tomb, Wasteland, Reflecting Pool, Volrath Stronghold, City of Traders, and Gemstone Mine. Gosh, this is just absolutely stunning. So all these cards are from Tempest, Exodus, Stronghold, Weatherlight, and then you've got, take a look at this. This is the Urza's Block lands, all 5 of them in BGS 9.5 condition. So you've got the black, white, green, blue, red, and then the Thran Quarry, which Thran Quarry used to be a pretty popular card, actually. I'm actually surprised that the card isn't worth a bit more. But anyway, I digress. The Phyrexian Tower is the black one. Everybody knows Serra's Sanctum, Gaia's Cradle, and Tolarian Academy are like the most busted, ridiculous lands ever in the history of Magic. And here they are in 9.5 condition. The whole set is together. Black, white, green, blue, red. Siobhan Gorge, the worst. Yeah, I'd say Siobhan Gorge is definitely the worst. Phyrexian Tower is actually pretty useful because it's like a sack outlet on a land that you can't respond to. But Siobhan Gorge just sucks. It's like you look at this, it's like who was designing these cards? Siobhan Gorge, you could tap 3 mana and tap it, so you're basically paying 4 to deal 1 damage to your opponent. It's like, compared to Gaia's Cradle, it's like, what the hell were you thinking? And the last one here from Matt Bay's collection is these Ice Age lands. So take a look at these. So you've got Glacial Chasm, Underground River, Sulphurous Spring, Halls of Mist, River Delta, Timberline Ridge, and Land Cap. So a few of these are the depletion lands as they're known. And then you've got the Underground River and Sulphurous Springs. Those are like the original Pain lands. And then a couple utility lands with Glacial Chasm and Halls of Mist. So these, everybody knows the Pain lands are very, very good, very, very powerful, being able to tap for any color mana. But the depletion lands, while they're not very good, the artwork is absolutely stunning on these. Like the River Delta, the Timberline Ridge, the art on those to me, it makes them very, very desirable to have in a high grade. They're not very expensive cards, but they're absolutely beautiful, and I can definitely understand why someone would want to have, these types of cards in their collection. Same thing with Glacial Chasm and Halls of Mist. They're not necessarily the most expensive cards, but they're very unique and they're very pretty to look at. And I think this just kind of goes to show you that it's not always about having the most expensive, flashy card. Collecting is about having fun and collecting things that you enjoy, that you get something out of when you look at your collection. And that doesn't always have to be something monetary. I know some of my favorite cards are not the most expensive cards that I have. Like I'm looking over at my collection. I've got a few cards up, and cards like Dream Halls mean a lot to me just because it's like one of my pet cards like Eladamri, just because the artwork is so beautiful. And a lot of other ones. Everybody's got their own thing that speaks to them, and that's what I think is so cool about grading and collecting Magic the Gathering cards, is that it's a very personal thing, and what you collect might not be the same thing as what somebody else collects, but you appreciate your collection for what it is and what you get out of it. So I feel like all the collections that we looked at today had a really unique thing going, and I really think that when you focus your collection to a certain thing and you focus on acquiring the same card, or all the different cards from a certain type of cycle, or all the certain type of cards for a certain set, or something like that, something to kind of give you direction in your collection, I always think is a really good thing. Just kind of haphazardly buying everything that you can, and just because it's graded, I don't think is a good idea. You want to focus your collection on the things that you enjoy, that you want to have, that like when you have it all sitting in front of you, makes you smile. That's really what your collection should be about. It shouldn't really be about just about money and stuff. You want to have something that brings joy to you, and I can definitely see why all the collections that we looked at today, some bigger, some smaller, why they would do that for the people who collect them. So that's the video for today. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you. If you'd like to have your collection featured on Gem Mint MTG, shoot me an email. My email is in the description of all of my videos. You're welcome to shoot me an email with the picture of your collection. I try to do these as often as I can, as time allows, and I'd be happy to showcase your collection too. All right, and if you're not already a subscriber here, hit that subscribe button. What are you doing? Join the channel. It's the best way to support the channel with just the click of a button. All right. Hope you're having a great weekend. Till next time, have a great one.